I will share it with you, but I don't see the bottom. Yeah, I hide it. You hide it? Most of the time, you want to bring it. Make sure you follow that in. Make sure it's working. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Thank you for staying for another 1.5 hours. So inshallah, you will need those drinks and eatings, whatever. If you need some extra energy to keep awake, please help yourself. Inshallah, in this second session, we will talk about the outcomes of the difference for what happens with Quranic worldview, what happens with secular worldview in personal life. This is going to be the focus. So very briefly, to start from where we were left, at the very end of last session, we made actually a very central distinction between the Quranic worldview and secular worldview. Quranic worldview was inviting us to read the universe, the life, the events, everything, like a book, but in the name of its author. Like what reading the events as a message from my creator, and what am I supposed to make out of it? As example was given, an accident is happening. You can take it as, oh, some random drunk person hit my car, or you can read it as my creator, who is creating every single event, as we mentioned, even dropping of a leaf, he has definitely created this event right before my eyes, or even me including in it. What is his message to me? How can I read this as a message from him? This is Quranic worldview. Then, accordingly, I will take an attribute towards events in personal life, in societal life, and so on. But when it comes to a secular worldview, it would just be, oh, it was an unlucky day, or the driver was driving under influence. So there are bad people, good people. And then in this world, there are certain things that I cannot prevent anyways, and that I will be living a life with some sort of stress. So in any case, the major difference is in whose name are you reading? Is it in the name of the creator or in the name of the things themselves? So this being the major distinction, now let's start discussing Qur'an versus secularism for their outcomes in personal life. And we will go through the questions that we established in the first session, but now dig deeper into the personal outcome. So who has authority? Just a reminder before we start. If you have any questions or comments, or something, please don't hesitate. You don't have to wait until the end. Raise your hand, and Brother Arfan, inshallah, guide you to how to use microphone. And the high quality microphone will be going in the inshallah. Okay, who has authority? So secularism used to say, I have authority and dominion over myself, like everything else has authority over itself. So my guess. So what does this mean for personal life? Let's first talk about this, how it applies to what sort of is or hardship in personal life. And then we will go to the Quranic version. If you go to slide, yeah, one more. So that would be the, yeah, let's start from here. Okay. No one is coming, be your own hero. I guess this is the correct phrase coming from our Gen Z brother. So I really give it. Okay. So I mean, we were looking for some tech phrase, and him being the youngest, or well, old now. After the baby, you get old. So no one is coming. Be your own hero. I guess this is also something that you learn from Hollywood movies as well. So
I guess like it's in the same vein as we were talking before, like authority. But now it's like you are enough for yourself, or you can pave your own future. You can figure things out for yourself. You can be self-sufficient. You need to go figure out, like, go hustle, work hard, earn your future. This is kind of the mindset that we all have. I mean, this is like, we need to work hard for education, for career, all these different things, and be self-sufficient. The irony with this is, and we kind of touched on this, but by trying to be self-sufficient, trying to take care of yourself, trying to plan your future to every detail, guarantee your sustenance in the future, guarantee this sort of career, make sure that this happens. By doing this, you end up begging in front of everything else, like whether it's like the corporate boss you have, or it can be even like a sickness. Like, you thought you had your whole life planned out, and then you get hit with, God forbid, cancer, or you get some other sickness, like everything gets derailed. Now you're worried about a health disease that might come up in the future. Or, all these, like, you're planning to have, let's say, this sort of career in the future, but then, I don't know, the economy changes, president changes, all these things that you didn't expect in a million years start happening. All your plans just go down into the dump. So this idea of self-sufficiency, it ends up, the irony of it, like, work for yourself, help yourself, look out for yourself. The irony of it is, like, it ends up hurting you, actually. It, like, leads to your own pain. It leads to your own suffering. All these help yourself kind of statements are actually kind of enemies of you.
Just to go step by step, maybe, and what happens when you claim dominion over your realm, which is, the range of the things that you can control. That's the claim. So you would say, okay, this is something that I achieved, and this is my responsibility. And then what happens is, just like I do have dominion over my world, Asim also has dominion over his world. And then Ahmed has dominion over his world, and so on, right? So then what happens? We say, okay, there are things that we can control, and there are things that we cannot control. That's the usual rational, secular, understanding. But unfortunately, because we are human, we are infinitely needy. We need infinite, the perfection, everything in our life. Would you like to exemplify this? Exemplify, yeah, infinite needs. Oh, yeah, sure. So I will actually give an example. We can take from there. And so just because somebody tells me that there are certain things that I can control and certain things I cannot control, it does not, silence my need, for instance, everything else that I cannot control. So child, in this case, is a really good example, because children are like we say they are innocent and pure. They are innocent in every sense. They are the really great example to show us what we are. So I tell my daughter that there are certain things you cannot do, right? Your mom does not allow you to do, or your dad doesn't allow you to do that. You cannot eat ice cream now, I say that, right? So what happens? She understands that I don't allow, and she cannot have it. What happens next? That she says, okay, Daddy, I will not get that ice cream today, maybe later. No, she will start crying, shouting, right? Throwing things. Right? That might be, not everyone keep saying, but in our case, she starts throwing things like it's crying. Why? Because she needs it, she wants it. Just because I told her that she cannot do that, it doesn't change the fact that she still wants it. Same goes with us as well. When I start believing in that I have authority over things, and there are things that I can control, I cannot control, it doesn't silence my soul. I keep shouting, throwing things around, metaphorically sometimes, right? I still want them, but that's the irony. That you start with claiming to have ownership, authority, and then you start crying because you cannot control things. You find yourself in the less authoritative way. So that was a question back there. So don't join.
So I was wondering if we could frame self-sufficiently a little bit different, because I don't always see like the irony, right? Like like I've been following, right? I do understand the how secularism would make me feel like I control myself, but there's a lot of things that I would understand. Yeah, I don't have control over it, but I know what does, or I can, or secularism tells me the other thing that does. So, for example, earlier there was an example of um the leaf falls to the ground. Well, the leaf doesn't really know how to fall to the ground. Well, maybe the leaf doesn't know, but gravity and wind and whatever else work together to make the leaf fall. So there might not be, like, I would not assume that the leaf knows how to fall, but I assume that five things in conjunction would make the leaf fall in secularism, right? So the same way, like, I don't think if I were to look at my life through the lens of secularism, I would say that I'm self-sufficient because I know that other things, like some things are in control of some other person. Like if we can frame it differently, or if you can explain that further, I would appreciate it.
If you don't mind, I will start with just a small example. Let's assume I tell you that this whole country is ruled by Zainab, this little kid. Would you believe me? Say, "Ah, come on, don't believe me." If I tell you, oh, she has five more friends, they work together and do it, would you buy it? Hundreds of them, but still Zainab. Thousands. Wouldn't change, right? Anything. Even as I increase the number of children, you would say it becomes harder, man. Like they would start fighting. Same goes with the reality as well. Like everything. When you say gravity, they are nothing but blind, powerless, mindless creatures that require, like they need something to exist. They cannot even, create themselves. Forget about creating an art. They are like less powerful than they, less rational than Bushra or they. Why should I believe that hundreds of them come together and do?
And I think the irony aspect in here is the aim was to get independence, because it looks like let's take it at a very higher level. Qur'an perspective is saying that realize your neediness and accept it consciously before your creator and ask from him, because at the end of the day, he is the provider anyways. Like it looks like slavery. But when it comes to secular claims says, no, claim your own ownership. You're strong. Like you can, at least you have this much of control over yourself. So it looks like it is giving some sort of authority to you. But the outcome is, in the way Quran would have suggested, you would be asking from one and only all-powerful creator. But now the way secularism suggested, I have to beg before so many other things that secularism suggests, such as in your example, like gravity, this, that, or in social life, family life, beg before your wife, before your kids, before your boss, like everybody. And I claim this some sort of authority. I felt like I am good when it comes to, like, in the classroom, I am the boss. But once I step out of the classroom and now I'm inside the dean's room, like I am the beggar. So just to get this false feeling of authority over a bunch of students in the classroom, what is the price that I pay? I am begging before the dean, the department head, university board, like I can depart me at any, like I'm not a citizen yet. So before all of them, I start begging. So does it worth it? This is the irony part. You get this much of authority, and then you become so much of a slave before so many things. For what? In order not to be the, like, slave in this case really means recognizing your neediness before them. No, I'm recognizing my neediness before all them in order not to recognize my actual neediness before the actual provider. This is the irony that's being mentioned here. So, would you like to take that?
I had a collaborator, like one of the world-renowned professors at the time. We are having a meeting, and he's like one of the legends from the domain. So we're talking to him, we respect him a lot, and for some meetings, we also invite my other boss. He's also a good guy. This professor one day told me that we can, for the next meeting, don't invite one. I said, why? He said, he's more senior than me. And I feel, what is it, the pressure when he's in the meeting. Meaning I cannot rule over the language. Right? So I was so surprised, like, he's one of the biggest guys in the domain, still feeling such a pressure when somebody else, another big guy, is in the same group. Is this the outcome I want when I become the biggest professor? Obviously.
So this was not supposed to be the outcome. This is why it's so ironical. You were supposed to be as in the Hollywood movies, like super, like one of the supers. But becoming a super makes you a slave of many.
Oh, we had a warning about, we had a warning about the sound quality. So if you don't mind, let's switch to older. No, it was like that. Yeah, maybe the new setup is not working. We haven't tried it enough. So I will switch to the old setup while we go for the question. But what's your question? Okay, don't start yet.
So can you hear us well now? Is it any better? If the online people can comment. Is the voice quality any better, online people? Yes, okay, good. Yes, question.
I'm still struggling with this like sufficiency thing because a lot of the time I do feel self-sufficient. I wanted to come here today, I came. If I wanted to get Thai food, I can order it from my phone. If I wanted to go to Malaysia for a weekend, I could book a ticket, I could go. When I do get sick, which happens maybe every 6 months or something, for a few days, I feel, oh man, like I'm not self-sufficient. But then I'm healthy again, and then I forget about being needy. I think when we are in our younger years, it's very easy to feel self-sufficient. I can see that as I age, maybe as I get 70, 80, and I can't do things I used to do, it'll make sense to me to see my neediness much more clearly. But I think in one's youth, one can feel very self-sufficient. And even when we talk about your analogy of kind of needing your manager and kind of being sufficient, needy to your manager or to your income, sure, but maybe I lose that job. I can probably get another job because I've got another job before. So, or I can just claim unemployment or something or I can just get money from somebody in my family. So I might not have as much money as I used to have, but I'll probably be okay with regards to economic sufficiency. So just kind of curious your thoughts with regards to that.
joke and then give it to you.
was
He's just simply saying that you are too old. I can understand why you don't feel self-sufficient. But when it comes to me, like a tough guy, so we meant, that everybody except you, of course. So please, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if it's true that self-sufficiency doesn't make you feel like this guy or like the other guy before his boss feeling anxious, if you feel that there is no problem with your life, then I would say then you have no problem. Like then secularism works for you. Then you can basically live life just for whatever it's giving you. You can go be like, okay, I'll figure this out. I'll figure that out. I'm going to handle whatever situation is thrown at me. I don't have a response to say forcing anything on you. But for myself, as much as I can speak about myself, is I see even like, okay, I have some maybe, okay, up until this point, I've been taken care of. Up until this point, I realized that I've been given I've been given mercy. I've been given parents, I've been given friends and all these opportunities. Yes, if I lost my job, I wouldn't immediately fall into despair. I wouldn't immediately think, okay, everything's going to go to hell or everything's going to be terrible. I would say, but there I realized I need to realize if I thought I was the one who took care of myself, I was the one who, worked really hard, graduated, I'm the one who forced the interviewer to hire me, I'm the one who did this, then I'm like, okay, now I need to start, I need to somehow get someone else to fall for my tricks, or I need to somehow convince someone to hire me again. And I fall into this anxiety. If I thought I was the one doing it, I would fall into that anxiety. I don't know how to escape that anxiety. And even if you do get a job, then there's always this thought of, is this enough? It could always go away. And as humans, I think something we kind of talked about is we have endless needs. Like it's never that, okay, I reached this next step, now I'm content. I always want more. I always have the ability to want more. So when I can't, I'm always trying to get more, and when I can't reach that, I feel another sort of anxiety. So for me, if I felt like things happen because of myself, like I had to do them, I had to be the one that was good enough to take care of, let's say, my family. I have to be good enough to earn, and I have to, sustain us or something like that. That does make me fall into, some type of pain, harm. It's not helpful for me. If anything, then I need to go ask the government, be like, hey, take care of me, government. If they don't take care of me, then I need to go somewhere else. Like, okay, there needs to be someone that I need to go and beg before. But again, this is something that I think you can only speak if it's a problem for you.
And I agree that in our youth, we tend not to think about this or not realize this. And actually, it's easy to test this. Like we have a strong wrestler over there, Salih. So a young person, like after the age of adolescence, this is when this idea of self-sufficiency starts kicking in more, because you start saying that, like you put your foot stronger on the ground, and then you start like challenging the parents and whatnot more, because you feel like I am self-sufficient. And actually, this is given for a good purpose, because you start trying and failing after this age, but still you feel like, let me try this option, let me try that option, and still you feel this strength in there, right or wrong, baseless or has some substantial basis. After failing enough number of times, this is when you start saying, I am tired. I don't know if you heard this from your friends, or maybe sometimes you said it out loud when nobody is around for yourself. I am tired. I'm talking to a friend last week. That's what he was saying over the phone. He said, Yusuf, I am tired. And this word is so heavy, like psychologically such a heavy word. He tried many things. We tried many things. And at the same, we say, I am tired. So this is such a, it comes at an age for sure. But maybe, can I realize it earlier than up until coming to 40 might be a relevant question. But existentially, now that we are speaking more in black and white terms, existentially, I'm not sufficient. Because where's the self-sufficiency idea is coming from? Like for our kids, there's always food in the fridge. They never question where it is coming from. And they're feeling confident about finding food in the evening. But is this a self-sufficiency or somebody providing them? They feel like it's my fridge, it's my food. But no, somebody is putting this food over there. It is being given to you. It's not yours. When do we start realizing this? When the food is not put there. This is how it's happening in our life. Like where's my Kadir? Oh yeah. Like power is being put in his muscles. But he feels like he is putting them in there. Or power is always there. Strength is always there. And relying on these muscle strength, he is feeling confident. But once comes an age that the muscles are not functioning as well, then he realizes, actually, I was not self-sufficient. This is why you're right, age, it takes age for sure. And this is why aging is a mercy of the Creator. Like those being taken away from you is not like wrath of the Creator. It's mercy of the Creator saying that, okay, it's time for you to wake up from this dream world. I gave you this for a reason. Now I'm taking them for a reason, because this is a learning environment. This life of you is a learning environment. Now realize who is the provider. But in those sleepy days, the outcome is being like this guy over here. Is this what you're alluding to?
So just to highlight something,
Grandpa? Yeah, like my
just
grandpa.
to highlight something, when, like he said, when it is taken away, then you realize you are not self-sufficient, not only in this moment, but you also realize that you never been self-sufficient. Like maybe take this child example further. Whenever my daughter wants something, especially the younger one, I take her, right? She says, Daddy, swing, and I just carry her, take her to swing. She says, Daddy, food, I take her, put in front of the food, feed her, right? And then she wants ice cream. Sometimes I buy ice cream, right? And then she's talking to her friends, just like you did, right? Like a few minutes ago. They wouldn't use the term, of course, self-sufficient. They heard the friend says, oh, Huda, do you know what? You are not the princess. She would say, what are you talking about? I'm a princess. Whenever I want to go to swing, I go to swing. Whenever I want to eat, I eat. Even ice cream, she would say, right? I'm the princess, self-sufficient. But reality, she's not, right? I mean, she's a princess, of course, but she's not, because it's me, the daddy or mommy, carrying her. Sometimes when she's spoiled, I said, no swing today. And she realized, I mean, she doesn't, but she will one day, she will realize that it was not me going to swing. My dad was carrying me. Just like in your case, you say, when I want to walk here, I walk, right? I'm the prince, you say. But then the Creator, sometimes when you get spoiled, put tiredness in your legs or something else. Say that, what is your name, sorry? Tolu. Tolu, without M, okay, Tolu. Tolu, I'm sorry, you are not the prince. I used to carry you, right? You thought you were walking, but the falling leaf, every instance that he's controlling, the same goes with your legs as well. All you do, you just want to walk, that's all. The rest, he carries you. Just like a prophet, ﷺ says, when I drove them, it's not me droving them. When you walk, it's not you walking. He walks you. You just want to walk. There's a question, can we?
Just a very short comment, maybe. What your reflections are making me think of is nowadays I hear it's very popular to want to buy a plot of land in Vermont, live off the grid, become self-sufficient, make sure there's a well there. Because, in my day-to-day life, I might think, oh, whenever I want water, I just open the faucet, there's the water. But the moment there's a water outage, I say, how could they do this? Like, this government, this city planner is terrible, because suddenly the water's not coming. And I realized that, in fact, I'm in dependent on other people, resources to get me that water, right? So I realize I'm not self-sufficient in that moment, in that lapse, momentary lapse of lacking water. And I think this happens in my day-to-day where, I don't necessarily need to wait till I'm old, right? Like I can be talking, and this happens a lot to me nowadays, and suddenly I just blank out. There's a cloud and the words that I'm looking for disappear, right? Maybe they come back 30 seconds later, but that momentary lapse, and we say, oh, I blinked out, shows me that quality of memory, that faculty of intellect or vocabulary doesn't actually belong to me. If it did, I would never have that outage, right? So I guess similarly, I may get sick. I was just thinking about the brother's comment. I may get sick perhaps, every 6 months or maybe even once a year. But that momentary sickness or brief sickness shows me what my true reality in my day-to-day life actually is. It just kind of breaks that illusion. But I'll just add a question that maybe will be answered at some point. But I was just thinking, you've very beautifully outlined so far this contrast between secular claims and Quranic claims, and which ones I should really which ones match my reality. But I guess in my day-to-day life, like, and I'm sure no one here is like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the secular claim. No, I'm like, no, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim. The Quran, that's the way forward. But as you mentioned in the introduction, right, I find that those secular ideas seep their way into my life regardless. Like, so what do I do with that? And I know that's a very broad question, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there too eventually. Jazakallah.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. So actually, in a sense, to test whether they seep into my life, because maybe I wouldn't like to admit that I am carrying this secular worldview. Generally, when we have a conversation of this sort, the point comes to, especially if you are coming from a religious background, or if I accept the secular claim, then I am being in the hellfire, I am being a disbeliever. So like I have a tendency not to admit that I'm having such a claim in my life. But the outcome is in my life, though. Like, even if I admit that I have such a claim or not, the outcome is in my life. And here, the outcome is being mentioned as a life full of internal conflict and contradictions leading to stress and discomfort. So, my guests, how did you say that such an outcome comes? Like, why? Is there a relationship between this claim, I am self-sufficient, and the outcome being like internal conflict and contradiction? What sort of conflict and contradiction are you referring to here?
So I think we talked about it, but the problem with, self-sufficiency is just a contradiction of who I am. Like, fundamentally, and I think it goes back to, like, as a human, I have infinite neediness. Like, we talked about what makes, like, human, you can think you're powerful, but really what our creator is telling us, what Quran is telling us, is you are infinitely needy and powerless. And if I try to ignore this infinite neediness and powerlessness, if I try to think, no, I'm not like that, and then I try to act upon that, I see that everything I'm doing, it starts backfiring. Like, I try to, claim some authority over, like, let's say my coworker, or I try to claim some authority over something else in my life. I see that authority, it might like trick me for a bit, it might actually work, but it backfires, it doesn't work, it dies. I think that, I have, like, let's say, capability to run and jump and do all these different things, play sports. But then I see as I get older, even that's like dying. I see that all these things that I was claiming, it's basically like, I feel like there's almost like an earthquake under me, or like the ground I'm on is crumbling. So what happens is everything I like reach for, it's just like running away from me. I try to grab this, I try to grab that, it's running away from me. So what this is, I live in this world where I want something, but I can't like grab it, or whatever I grab, I know it's going to like go away. So it's like this constant conflict. I'm constantly in this state of conflict and contradiction. And if maybe the next one, I think, because it doesn't just end with the secular claim, there's also like the secular Muslim claim, which I think maybe we can even relate a bit more to. So it's this like, okay, now let's say I don't think I'm a creator. I don't think I'm a God. I accept God is the one who creates. And I even accept, he's the one who helped me, or he helped me from childhood to this point. He's the one, who's sustaining me and all these different things. But at the same time, it's like, oh, I need to still do my part. Like, this is something that we say, which might be misunderstood, is, I need to put in the effort. I got to go and take this and do that. And then God will grant the rest. He's going to do the rest. Like, I still see that maybe I think I have some power. I still think I have some authority. I still, like, God gave me authority that I need to now enact. And this is kind of a tricky one. I would say, like, it's a tricky one to fall into, because the outcome could be the same. Because, okay, now there's a God in the picture, but you are studying for your interview, or you're about to graduate, and you feel an immense amount of anxiety. But you believe in God, you believe he's taking care of you, but at the same time, you feel an immense amount of pressure and anxiety. Or you're at your workplace, or all these different things in your life, and there's so much you want to do, but you don't have, like, the time to do them, or you don't have the capability to do them, or, like, the world climate or economy, everything is changing. So you believe in God, at the same time, you're feeling this immense amount of anxiety and pressure. So where's, like, the solution? Like, Qur'an is apparently bringing the solution, or is going to bring a solution. But how come just when I believe in God and I think, okay, I just have to do my part, it's still not working, though, I guess.
So what's the problem here? Like, what's the problem with
Do
your best, Allah will do the rest? Like, should you not do your best, or, like, what's the issue?
I guess, like, it starts with as we discussed at the very beginning, the separation of things. Like, do your best, Allah will do the rest. Meaning, whatever you are doing, it is you who's doing it. Like, you take the dominion, sovereignty of this part, and the rest that you cannot control, as we said, there are things that you can control. For the rest, purely secular world, we would say, for the rest, you have to beg to others. Secular Muslim would say, do your thing, this is your sovereignty, that things that you can control. For the rest, ask for Allah, ask from Allah, right? So the problem is even admitting or claiming that I can do these certain things.
But these are students. They will think that for being successful in the class, I study, but then God gives the success. Like, I do the study part, do they not?
And probably there's such a question from one of the students, if Arsalan can help us.
Yeah, like, now the issue is like the murky issue of I forget the word, but what we do, free will versus what Allah, like, makes happen. Like, what about my dua? Like, what about me making the choice, right? Like, again, I feel like this is like a free will versus Allah thing, right? Like, I made the choice to sit in front of the book, and then Allah gave the knowledge, but I sat. So I feel like, is it, again, in here, the wording, like, I'm not trying to say that I'm doing it and he does the rest, but I definitely have to do something, and Allah will respond to that dua, right?
So I think that way of framing is another level. But before coming to that level, it feels like success has components. Studying is part of it, because knowledge has to be accumulated somehow. And I take this part of it. And then when it comes to the exam, I could get sick. I could get stuck with my sleep or in the traffic and whatnot. God takes care of it. Like, he grants me health that morning. He grants me no traffic, so I come to the classroom. And then, I could have brain fog that day. He also prevents brain fog. And then it's my time to shine. I solve all the problems. So, like, part of it he does, part of it I do. Like, this is generally, or to a certain extent, understanding. So Brother Birkan, you don't do your best here?
I guess like within the scope of these sections, if we can at least see that all I do is choosing, and the entire creation, including learning, is by him. If we can accept this, or within the scope of these discussions, to me that's enough. How I choose whether it is something I do or not, let's leave it there for now. Let's see whether we have anything beyond choice. At least if we can come there, at least to me personally, that's enough for today. And when I study, what I do, I want to study, yes. And then I want to sit, like sit in front of the book, and it is provided. How I know? Sometimes I cannot even sit. Back pain, you wouldn't know that, right? So it is given. Then I want to understand what is written in the book. Just I choose. What I do, I stare. That's all I do, basically. Like, is there anyone else who does other than staring at the book to study? Such a magical thing, right? The book is there, you just stare, and it's only in your mind now. You have no idea how something written there is encoded. Like if you are studying computers, right, or similar devices, it will be a magical thing for you, because to transfer any data from one place to another place in a completely different format, it's a huge job. You have to create, quote unquote, a protocol for that. Okay, it will be read this way, and then it will transfer encoded this way, and then decoded such a, the rules will apply. It's happening all the time when you stare at the book. You have no idea. And then you wish, and just wish, that it will be stored in your mind. How do you store information in your mind? Help us. I'm, uneducated person. Educate us. Only PhD. I'm kidding. Nobody knows. I mean, people study, of course, neuroscience. They would tell you some fancy stuff. They don't know. They don't even know how they can tell this, like articulate these sentences. Right? We just wish. It's like, when you order something from the Amazon, what do? You click. That's all. Do you do anything else other than clicking? And then what happens? Tens, thousands of processes, hundreds of workers. And then, bloop, it's in front of your door with the sound here. Our ring bell, like this. Oh. So can you say that I did it? What did you do? I clicked. But when I click really good. That's the same thing.
Do your best. Amazon will do the rest.
Yeah, exactly. What is your best? Let's feel this. What is your best? I click best. The last time the Abdurrahman tried, it didn't happen. That's how our life, right? So yeah, this is the best. If you say that, I click best or I wish best, yes, you're right.
Yeah. And water department's example. So here is the water department representative. Yeah.
Isn't the context of doing your best not doing it in the not doing the best, but like choosing the best, making the best set of choices?
If it is, yes.
I think like a proper framing, like there could be a correct meaning of this sentence. So not to say that this is a totally wrong sentence, but like any sentence, if you interpret it in the right way, it could mean the right thing. So by doing in here, if you mean that one ask from your creator verbally or by choosing as an action, because those choices are also another dua. If you see them as dua, then yes, this is the only thing you can do, asking from him. But if I feel like, no, making this choice and I do the outcome. I mean, especially if you are coming from a Muslim background, you wouldn't say I create the outcome. But if you feel like I studied and I'm successful because I'm successful, and use the logic of last year I didn't study and I was not successful. This year I studied and I am successful. Therefore, my studying has a share in my success. If this is the idea, then I mean more for this do than simply choosing to do. So in this regard, that meaning of the sentence is wrong. This is why it is like secular Muslim version of it. And the outcome, we can know what we mean by it by the outcome. If I have this stress, as Brother Birkan was mentioning, Abdurrahman was mentioning, if I have this stressful nights for my job during my job applications and whatnot, I had the most polished CV and everything, yet job market is so bad, man. Like if this is the attitude, then that means do your best version is in the closer to the wrong one.
Like as we said in the first session, there's no neutrality. You cannot just say, okay, yeah, this is right. What you are saying is right. But who cares? I will make the wrong choices. As Quran says, like in Quran, very nicely says, do you think we will leave you alone with your sins? The outcome will be always there. The suffering will be always there. When you make the wrong choices out of the mercy, the suffering will be always there to warn you. Like who wants to live a false life based on false claims, false assumptions, living a lie? Who wants that? Nobody. And the Creator sends the suffering to warn you. So what kind of suffering we're talking about? Again, the stress of taking care of everything because you have to take care of. Stress of convincing others so that they will help you or act in a way that would help you to get what you want. Stress of that. Trying to control hundreds of different equations. That's the stress, suffering. And it will be there. It is there, actually, right?
And I don't think if you do feel that anxiety, that stress, those things are not necessarily bad. Because as Brother Khan just said, God does not leave you alone. Like it's the training for you. Like if you feel this anxiety, stress, something is happening in your life, you're trying to understand, okay, where am I wrong? How do I now solve this, or how can I have a better approach to this? And I think there it's like, okay, look at, maybe you thought, yes, I believe in God. I saw that He was taking care of me, that He was providing for me. But this one thing, I actually thought I earned it. You know, I worked really hard for this. That other person didn't. I earned this. But then there you're tested, or there He sends the training, the education, where now you have to process those feelings. And it's not like something bad, let's say, like, oh, now you're a secular Muslim. This proves that you're going to go to, you're going to be punished. But it's more, okay, this is like an indication, a warning. Hey, you have something that could be cleaned up here, because the Quranic perspective is where, I'll just say the last one, you let Him carry your burdens. Like the burdens you are not meant to carry those burdens. Like you shouldn't feel them ideally. Like you have a responsibility and choice for sure. But in terms of burden, in terms of creating the outcome, in terms of guaranteeing like a creation of something, you have no power there. And in fact, all you need to do is you have to let Him carry your burdens. You have to kind of accept, or have tawakkul, rely on what He is creating for you. So it is, I just wanted to kind of emphasize that it's not like to say you're a secular Muslim, but it's more like a training aspect.
And practically, this becomes very visible, especially with the first child, because like anything else, you get used to it later on. But when the first child is being born, I remember truly feeling this, like a new life is there. You have no clue whatsoever how this thing came to be, because I can testify 100% that like a full biological entity alive with billions of cells, like at best I can say half of the first cell was coming from me, but even that, like a full human being is there, a full life is before this being, and you feel like, what am I going to do? There's a world out there which is so scary. How am I going to help the kid? So you really get stressed and realize And this is actually why when you go to the doctor, they would say, would you like genetical test? I said, for what? Or just to see if the baby has genetic diseases. What am I going to do? Am I going to kill the baby? Like, what is the point? But this is the level of expectation in today's people. You would like to have control over your baby's gender or genetical disease and this and that. Like, I have no clue whatsoever is going on. Don't put this burden on my shoulders. This is what's ending up happening, though, right? And this is why you will see, if I go with the secular mindset, like imagine you get the news that your baby has, I don't know, Down syndrome or some super genetical disease that baby will die after 3 months of life. What sort of a life you will live after this point, right? So much stress because this is totally out of your control, right? And now it's over your shoulders because you feel like I'm not able to prevent it. What does Quran offer? So contemplate on your neediness. Like you are existentially needy. What is it that you are able to do? Like, yes, you cannot control the genetic conditions of the baby, but what else can you control in the first place? Just realize, because whatever you claim that you can control, you're putting it over your shoulders. But what is it that you can do anyways? So let's read the verse quickly. قُلْ مَنْ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ قُلِ اللَّهِ. Ask, who is the Lord of the heavens and the earth? Then say Allah. This phrase is very interesting in Quran because there are verses which says قُلْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and then the verse continues لَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ. They will say Allah. But this phrase قُلْ مَنْ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, who is the Lord of the heavens and the earth, this phrase happens twice. Answer is not there. Then the creator again completes the sentence saying that, say Allah. What do you understand from here?
I guess the key there, for the sake of time, maybe Rabb. Like when you say, who created everything, all these, the earth and the heavens, nobody would say, oh, I didn't do that. Or this didn't do that. Yeah, there is something. Like, even if they're, like, if you are an unbeliever, you would say, oh, there was this mystical force, or this, I don't know, subatomic something, the field that created the universe. Everybody would say that in the first example you said, like, who created, right? But when it comes to who's the Rabb means who is taking care of everything, every single entity. Who's the, like, not just the creator, but taking care of everything, every single moment. That's the Rabb. Then it's silence. You don't say Allah directly because you think I am doing it. The Rabb word in Arabic also used for daily life as well, right? You would say, for instance, I'm the Rabb of my house. It is allowed in the Arabic, so don't point. When Ayah asks who's the Rabb of everything, you would say, I don't know, part of it me. In their house, Ayşenur. In somebody's house, the else's house, somebody else. With Yusuf's, we know that it's Ali. So it's changing, right? Who knows? But Ayah says, no, it's Allah.
Yeah. And this is where then we start saying, do your best. Allah will do the rest. Idea is part of it I do, part of it He does. But when it comes to maintaining things, again, it's all about Him. This distinction is where we are struggling. To the extent that I feel like I have control over things, it's being a burden on my shoulders. And Quran is saying that just realize your reality. It's Him taking care of everything at every moment anyways. So put this from your shoulders down and be conscious that He is, even if you were carrying it over your shoulders, He is carrying you anyways. But the problem is you are getting tired for no good reason. So just put it down, ask from Him. In the interest of time, let's move forward. Okay. Realizing my true potential. Okay. become the best and perfect version of yourself, claims secularism. What's wrong with that? Shall we not claim, or I think we have the Muslim version of this too. Where's the Muslim version? Oh, Ihsan, yes. Atik was mentioning Ihsan when he saw this. So these are the things. So we have become the best version of yourself. The Muslim version is do everything in the best possible way that you can do.
Be the best Muslim, or be the like Muslim needs to be the strongest or
Yeah.
the richest.
Such wordings. So what's wrong, my guests? I mean, you can pick up the secular version or Muslim version, whichever you would like to pick, because audience is listening to you carefully. If you make any mistake, they will pick up on you. So
So I guess we keep coming back to this theme that I have to acknowledge, like, I am needy, I am weak before my creator, like not before other things. Like I have to see that he is the one who has authority over me. He is my Rabb. It is not even like my parent who is my Rabb. Like I wouldn't say that. I would say my creator is my Rabb. And then when it comes to now the secular idea of, you need to realize your true potential. You need to exceed, be the best in your class. In the Muslim thing, it's like you have to be the best student as a Muslim. You have to like represent Muslims really well. I mean, it's this idea of you need to basically achieve success. You need to achieve perfection. You need to study and work hard and achieve all of these things. It's completely at odds with what we're saying about being weak and needy and seeking help from my creator and asking from him and asking him like to guide me and to help me and seeing him as the one who has authority. Like the other thing is, no, I need to achieve it. Like, okay, God exists, he's there, but I need to now put in this work, this effort. I need to achieve this. I need to grab this success for myself, this perfection, because the way I value myself is in how perfect I can be, like how much I can lower my weakness. Like the way, let's say if like let's say you're a celebrity or like someone like out there who has a lot of wealth and power, you want more wealth and power because now you want to cover up that weakness more and more. Like you're never enough. Like, okay, my weakness is covered. I feel good. I'm satisfied. I'm content. You always feel this need to keep going for more. As a human, you have like this endless need. And the problem there is like, you're always chasing, like it never ends. Like you have, this person, I guess, with the tasks, you're just all doing all these tasks, trying to get somewhere. It's just running off the end of a cliff. That's what happens in your own life. You see that you're trying to achieve your dreams, but it never ends. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to die anyways. Your career is what you worked, like Brother Yusuf always says, is like you studied 20, 30 years just so you can work another 20 years, just so you can now wait till you die for the last 20 years or something. Like just your life, you're always working to like achieve this one little dream on this world with your career and like to get something. Yeah, constantly working. But before you know, you get old. Now you don't have time. Like they always say, you get old, but maybe you might have money and you don't have time and you don't have health, all these different things. So you see that this, I guess, like striving for perfection, it doesn't help you. Like you value yourself based on how perfect you think you are. You value yourself based on how amazing you think you are, but valuing yourself that way, it's basically harming yourself. And then the secular Muslim version of it would be like, I guess, ihsan. Actually, I'll leave that. That's a little bit more complicated, so I'll leave that to you.
okay, so then maybe Brother Birkan can pick up on Ihsan.
Because of the sound. No, let's go. Good.
And before going to Ihsan, so like,
Yeah.
on the fundamental basis, what's wrong with being the perfect version of yourself? Like, is the idea wrong or the way it's implemented is wrong? What's wrong? Because, like, let me see, a good IT person here. Like, should Arsalan not become the best possible coder in which language you use? Python, like best Python coders.
Awesome.
Okay. So, like, should he just use like the version of it from 5 years ago, or like, what is it that is being criticized here?
So that was what I was planning to. That's what I was going to talk. So, like, I will necessarily mix with the Quranic teaching, if you don't mind. So like a Quranic teaching tells us that, yes, as a human being, you have this urge, need for perfection. And we know that from our nature, like every human being, except again, maybe a few bad examples, and they are there to teach us the rest, like the rest of us. We look at them and say that, unlike them, normal human beings have this need for perfection, right? Need for beauty. Nothing else would satisfy us. Give me a beautiful food, tasty food, I will start dreaming of like a tastier food. This is what a human being is. Perfection. We need this. So there's no question there. Like if you're a software engineer, there's this need in you that, okay, there seems to be much more. I need them as well. I want them as well. And you cannot help yourself with that. But the question is, can you get this perfection yourself within this universe? Do you see any instance of perfection? And the quick answer is no. If you go and talk to the best software engineer, you will see some flaws there. But this happened to me when I came here. So in Turkey, so I'm a hardworking person, right? Good in my classes. And I have this image about this world, the academia in US or Europe, that all these big guys, so fancy, so unreachable, right? They're doing their job perfectly. Everything about them should be perfect. That's my image, right? Only if I can talk to them a few minutes, my life will be different. Then I came here, started working with them. I realized, and this is not like a criticizing other people, like there's a self-critic as well. I realized I wouldn't even want to spend 5 minutes with them. Like the way they sit, the way they talk, the way eat, treat other people. I mean, this image shattered. The perfection is not reachable in this universe, it seems. Everything, just like myself, is needy, weak, and flawed. Existential. Right? So I still have the need for perfection, though. What am I going to do? If I try to do it through this, so you were asking what is wrong with this. What is wrong is the recipe. It tells me, yes, you need perfection and try to achieve it yourself or by getting help from these people you wouldn't even want to spend 5 minutes. What happens as an outcome? You constantly feel not enough because you cannot take, yourself any further or others. You always feel, as it says, insufficient. I need to be perfect, but I'm not. That's your reality. Constant feeling of insufficiency, constantly perceiving yourself as not enough and flawed. This is the main ingredient of mental health issue. And this is one big reason, despite in this culture, in this society, everything is a leader. Have you realized that? Like everyone is a leader in this society. When we assign, that's so funny, when we assign tasks at our workplace, we don't say, okay, Abdurrahman, go and do that. It's a very mundane thing. I don't know, like opening some files, reading them and deleting the useless ones, let's say. Oh, Abdurrahman, go and do that. We don't say that. We say, Abdurrahman, you are the leader of this, the duty. You will lead the efforts to take care of these files. That's how we speak. Seriously, I'm not joking. Everybody is a leader of something.
Their team.
Yeah. You need a team to lead, right? Yeah. So this is the this is the recipe they gave us. Lead it. Become the best. But we are not. he cannot even lead his, the need for food, let alone leading anything at workplace. So this constant conflict causes, like, yeah, I was saying that although everybody in this society is a leader, is the perfect, we have a mental health crisis. It's so widespread now. Why? Because everybody is a leader. At least one part, right? Constant stress, constant insufficiency, constant feeling of loss.
So in our previous analogy with Alexander the Great, so Alexander the Great wants to rule as many territories as possible. Like, he's a charismatic leader and he wants to conquer more lands. And when he was dying at age 30s, he had plans to enter into Arabia, to, like, he already conquered North Africa and whatnot, but he was planning for getting into the depths of Asia and to, like, this is what ends up happening. No matter how far you go, you feel like you should do more. Actually, it has two parts. One is, as I was talking to a student yesterday, it first starts by the feeling of imposter syndrome. Like, somebody is saying that, oh, you're so great and whatnot, and you know that you're not that great. So there's this anxiety of, will I be able to satisfy the expectations in the future? Once you start fooling yourself enough that I am good, because you start to lie to yourself, the imposter syndrome starts decaying after a certain point, and you start becoming the boss, or at least you feel. Then, oh, this territory needs to be conquered, this land needs to be conquered. Like, you feel flawed, you're not able to reach there. And as we were speaking at the very beginning, existentially, after a certain point, things start being taken away from you. So you start feeling even more flawed. So becoming the best version of yourself, which sounds like actually become a god, by the way. Another way to read this is become a god. What is the best version of you? Like, the underlying concept here is there's an ideal you. There's a flawless you. There's a God version of you. So become a God. This is what it is, in fact, saying. So it's an unachievable target anyways. This is why it's a doomed task. This is why it is leading to all these outcomes. But what's the solution?
And there are, like, really, some people, I don't know what kind of adjective you put in front of them, but some people who really think one day we will achieve, conquer the aging. We will become immortals. We will become some other, mystical forces. Like, we will leave our body and become energy, whatever. There are really people who are actually, we see all the day, like every day on social media, believe that and put them as goals to humanity. We have to go to Mars. Do you know what? To extend the human consciousness to other planets. Otherwise, our species will die here. So we have to be immortal. It's not as a person, as a species, we have to become immortal.
Well,
That's the reason.
I thought we went to Iraq for the same.
Yeah, that's
Right. We went to Iraq to bring democracy there.
we can skip this. Yeah.
Okay, so then what does Quran say? Because as they, Atik reminded us, this verse in Quran, Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. So Creator commands you to have ihsan. And it was a surprise to me for the first time when I came to US. I heard this verse being mentioned in the context of be the leaders, be the best. In Turkey, thankfully, they don't quote this verse in that context. But in America, it looks like this is how it fits the culture.
It has to be about leading. Yeah.
Yeah. So then how do I understand ihsan in this case? Or what is Quran's suggestion? So would you like to briefly mention this so that we wrap it up, or we already said?
I can mention, but it won't be brief. I cannot speak briefly, it seems.
Okay.
Maybe you should.
Okay. So then what is the point? Like, the desire is there. The desire to see the like become the perfect software engineer or become the best cook, best mom, best dad. The desire is there, yet it's unachievable. So then what is it? What am I going to do with this? Why is this given to me? So again, the answer is realize your insufficiency and realize that you're at the position of asking only. And when it is given to you, be thankful rather than saying that, oh, I conquered it and it's my perfection. Because the problem with becoming your best version is as if you are getting a new rank and putting it on your shoulder. This is my achievement. Like I am becoming more. But the way now Quran is inviting me to is, as in the example of, this is from Yunus alayhi salam. So he was inviting people didn't listen to his message and he left the village. So he is inviting people in the best of the form and people do not listen to. Like he delivered the message in the best of the form possible. Let's try to caricaturize it for ourselves. He tried his best, but people didn't listen. And then he's being thrown into sea and a fish is swallowing it. What does Yunus alayhi salam realize? Oh, I thought I mean, of course, speaking of for myself, I would have given them guidance. Like I explained it in the best way, but they didn't accept. But this was a wrong perspective. What I was supposed to think was, this is why he says, there is no deity except you. Exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers. So realizing the perfection of the creator was what I was expected to see in this endeavor. Like inviting people with the message, trying to deliver it in the best form. Actually, it could have been reformulated in a way that you are the flawless one. And with all my flaws, I am realizing your perfection. This is why I am given this desire for perfection, yet at the same time being imperfect. So this is my role in this life. My role is not to play the God. My role is to get to know the God, the creator. So if I realize, and how do I do this? By realizing my weakness and neediness.
And this is as Quran describes some other places. This is the perfection of the human. Being needy, weak, but at the same time urging, suffering for, not suffering much, like needing the perfection. Through this equation, you can find the perfect one. You need the perfection, you cannot gain it, you cannot attain it. Nobody else, nothing else in this universe attain it, but you still need it. And you realize that whatever happened in my life, being created by the perfect one anyway. So you attain your perfection by relying on the perfect one.
And Imam Nursi would speak it as your perfection is in your lack of perfection. But when he says lack of perfection, it doesn't mean like you're imperfect. You have something, but you're meaning you're lacking the perfection. No. Your perfection as a human being is in your lack of any sort of perfection whatsoever. And in Quranic terms, this again boils down to the whole conversation we have is actually human being and abd, realizing your abdness. That's why it is so heavy of a term, really. The word abd in Quran is so heavy of a word. We should think about it and try to see, does it apply to me in what sense?
Maybe quickly, like we keep talking about the outcome of the secular worldview. What is the outcome of all these Quranic teachings then? I'm just weak, needy. I cannot even click a button. So I just sit and stop there. No. Quranic worldview actually tells you that you are free of any false idols, any false gods. Everyone in your life claim authority over you. Just neglect them, Quran says. And you have the perfect dignity now. You have your dignity through realizing your weakness and neediness. Because when you realize that you are weak and needy, you realize everybody else is also weak and needy. I don't care how they, act. I don't care whether they trick themselves, cheat themselves, and try to trick me as well. I don't care. I don't know anything. They don't know anything. let them speak. That would be your, the stance. When it comes to doing something, you would say, I need for perfection and I want it. So I will ask for it. You will ask for it. How am I going to ask? The only way I know to ask is asking, like wishing for, working hard. I will ask through this. But I don't have stress now. That's all I can do. Ask. I'm asking. I'm doing my best, but in the right sense this time. He will give me if he wishes. And I see perfection in everything he creates. When I look at the universe, a flower, a fruit, an ant, a bird, a dust even, I see perfection there, the way they are being created, how they are embedded in everything else. I said, whatever will happen to me will be created in the perfect way. I won't be worried about them. I will have my freedom, true freedom. The freedom is the most important thing for humanity, for a human being. And you will get your freedom by realizing that nobody has any authority and power over you. You are a free person now. You will attain the true dignity. You will say, nobody can insult me because I'm the artwork of the one who creates perfectly. My friend tried to make sense of, make fun of my hair, that the fact that I'm losing hair. Let them make fun. I know that the one who creates me in this image creates in the perfect way. The way that would be best in my situation for me. That's what I see everything, like in everything else in the creation. A bird lives like a bird. A perfect instance of a bird. A bird doesn't have needs of, let's say, dog. It has the need of a bird and it has the sustenance of the bird. Perfect balance. If I have need of that many hair, I'm given that many hair. My skin getting wrinkled every day. This is what I need. It's the best thing that I would have at this age of my life. And I'm getting it. I have the perfect dignity now. Free, dignified, and relying on the perfect one. What else I can want?
Any question at this point?
So as Muslims, we believe that the Prophet ﷺ is the example of the perfect human, and that we are encouraged to follow in his example, so that, I don't know, we might attain some sort of, just be like him. Would following in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ reach the same outcome you guys are discussing?
Yeah. So in this regard, really, how can we become then the perfect human? And this is why the word abd in there is really important. For this question. Unlike becoming like Alexander the Great, and in his greatness it was coming from his so-called authority over people and land, Prophet's perfection was becoming a perfect abd. So how can I become a perfect abd, worshipper in this sense, is the question that I should ask. Because it is a worldview, it's a mindset, it's a state, and it has outcomes in day-to-day actions as well. It comes all together. So how can, this should be a serious question in the sense that this person seems to be perfectly satisfied in his life. Despite at the end of his life, even he was not living in a palace. Still, his house was a small room that he can fit with his wife. As they explained, when he was praying, his wife needed to take his legs together so that he can go to prostration. This is the highest he achieved worldly, if you would like to consider it as such. but he was an abd. So an abd in the sense that saying that I don't own anything. I am being given created with this physical body, with this intellect, with this strength and everything. So how can I realize this truth of myself? Is what should be my attitude when I look at Prophet's life, when I look at Qur'an, because Qur'an is actually is one of the best, or if not the best, seerah book that you can read. Read Qur'an as it is the story of Prophet's life, because this is what it is, really. If I take it as such, then I will read every verse and it will apply to my life, point by point.
So that's a great question, because it also, ties everything we discussed so far. We usually, when we talk about the perfection of the Prophet, والسلام, what comes in mind? He was the perfect gentleman. He was the perfect military guy. He was the perfect ruler. He was the perfect, what else? Father. These are all great for sure, right? But his perfection is explained in the first ayah came down. Iqra. The perfection lies in his response. He says what? I don't know how to. That's the perfection. It's the empty page ready to be filled with the revelation. I keep giving this example. The Iqra, the order comes to you. What would you say? Okay, let me try. Alexander Gray, he would say, I know we have to read in 5 different languages. Which one do you want? Right? The perfect human being says, I don't know how to read. And don't take it as just, I don't know how to read in Arabic or whatever. The question, Iqra, there's no text in front of you. Some people try to, make it easy by saying that, it's referring to the ayahs that will come. I don't know, there's no ayah there. Just the Iqra is there. As if telling, interpret whatever you see in your life. Read me what you read in the book of the universe. Jibril alayhi salam asks, read. What did you understand? And the answer is, I don't know. I need to be taught. That's the perfection. Perfect worshipper.
I realized they were almost at time, but I had 2 quick questions. One, the word existence has come up a few times. If you could expand on what existence means, that'd be helpful. And the other question I had was, if you guys could share practically how you guys are able to remind yourselves that we are indeed needy, because I think just even like living in the Western world, it's just you by osmosis you think you're self-sufficient. I think even our language, the words that we use, like I went to Philly, for instance, like I did it myself. So how practically you guys and anybody else reminds themselves about being needy will be helpful.
Just start with a joke.
This answers both questions. The existence. You start questioning existence after marriage. I'm joking aside. Marriage is good. I mean, still get married, but so I guess existence. So sounds like it's a too technical term. Is this why you wanted to specifically ask about the word existence?
Yeah, because I'm existing.
Mhm.
So in what way is that the way that you're using word existence?
So I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a proper answer. But yeah, we take it for granted for so much. Like when I say existence, for instance, the first thing comes to my mind to make a distinction is I say electricity is there, then I turn the switch, and now it's light. Light was not there before, but it was electricity, and now electricity is converted into light. This is how I was taught in my physics class, right? So, but I should pause and ask the question, like, electricity, light, where did electricity go? Where did light come from? Because now I benefit from light, it's existing, and there was electricity before, it's not there anymore. I just get a single word, electricity converted into light, preservation of energy. Everything is explained. I shouldn't buy such cheap explanations though, because existence is a serious thing. Electricity was not there, and now it is there. This is creation. It came into being. Now, how? How did this happen to be? This should be a serious question. And this being asked in there, and I know we are out of time, but one more minute. So this was something that as a child, I remember a very vivid memory of this. So my dad took me to a chocolate shop, and there was a faucet. The guy opened the faucet, and it was liquid chocolate. As a child, it was shocking to me. Like, oh, their faucet is flowing chocolate. Our faucet just flows water. What's going on in here? So now, with my head, I'm just making a scene out of this, asking my dad, and my dad would have said, I mean, he didn't, but now I'm making a story out of it. Oh yeah, in their house, like the shop, water is converted into chocolate. This is faucet, you know, it just converts water into chocolate. And then, but that in our house, water faucet doesn't do this. So this is what it sounds like here. You turn the switch, electricity converted into chocolate. So no, light. If it were to be converted into chocolate, we would be surprised, right? It's a new creation, but we never question it. We take it for granted. Likewise, you are being given, like at the beginning of this discussion, maybe you didn't think about certain things. Now you're saying, I found the idea, you say. Where did this idea come from? I should ask. It's a new existence, but we feel like somebody asked a question and it converted, switched something, and this new idea came out. And then what do you say? I found my answer. Did you found it? Did you came up with the idea, or was it given to you? So this existence of a new idea is something that we attribute to ourselves, and this being the whole problem so far. What's the solution? Just realize that you were in need of that answer, existentially needy of it, but you were not able to create it. It was given to you. Because if you knew the answer, it would be there the whole time. Just the fact that it's new to you means somebody put it there, not you. So this is what I understand from this existential domain. And now that the easy question is done, the harder question, any idea how to, other than the marriage, is there any other practical way?
How to remind yourself?
Yeah, to remind yourself.
Then out of mercy, God reminds us all the time. Like when you, as we were saying that when we fail, right? That's one thing to remind yourself. So like this sounds like not a proper answer, I know, but because we usually, waste our failures. When we fail, we do not think about them. The next time you fail in something, like even the simple thing, you want to call your friend and you forget. You failed to remember, right? Ask yourself, why? And then you will realize, you will remind yourself that, oh, to begin with, it was not me remembering anything anyway. If he wish, I remember. If he doesn't, I don't remember. So every failure, if you contemplate enough, if you take it seriously, will remind you that you are needy. If you are, let's say, more serious about that, with every step, you can realize that you need all these things to even be able to step. Whatever you are studying, are you studying anything? Are you working? Okay. When you go to workplace, question how things operate. How am I doing whatever I'm doing? When you question, you will realize you are in perfect need. A lot of needs.
And I guess we can read it on the flip side as well. You called your friend, you didn't forget, and you called your friend, and he said, "Oh, thank you so much. You called me. You're such a great person." You would respond saying, "Alhamdulillah." But what does this mean? All praise be to Allah. Like there's something
to me.
There's something praiseworthy. You're remembered, but you're declaring that it's not me who remembered you. I was made to remember you. So something praiseworthy, but I'm not the person to be praised for this. Let's together with this occasion, making this as an occasion, let's praise the real one, worthy of praise. That's why the word Alhamdulillah is so beautiful. When somebody says, "Oh, Tolu, you look strong," you would say Alhamdulillah, meaning I don't own it. Yes, strength is there, but it's not mine. Let's praise the one who is the real owner of the strength.
These cultural phrases, like we take them as cultural phrases. Like if you are Muslim, you would say Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, right? MashaAllah, thank you. They are so meaningful, and the reason they were put in our language, it's so like a conscious choice. Alhamdulillah is there just, to your answer to your question, to remind yourself. We usually use Alhamdulillah as, "Oh, Tolu, you are so strong." Alhamdulillah, yes. Right? That's the way we usually use it. Alhamdulillah, God gave me this strength. It actually means, "Oh, Tolu, you are so strong." You correct it. You say, "Wait a second, the power is there. Hamd needs to go somewhere. The thing it needs to go somewhere. Praise. But it's not me. It's Allah." This is what Alhamdulillah means. Next time you say Alhamdulillah, remember this. Yes, there is something praiseworthy, but not to me, to him. Because I'm needy. Next time you say Subhanallah, remember that everything is needy, not him. Next time you say MashaAllah, again, remember, it's not my will. He wanted it.
And this is why beginning any act, this is a very strong sunnah, the practice of the Prophet ﷺ, he starts every act by saying, Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Like I am going to start this act, but it's not going to be me who is acting. He is the one that acts, as Sister Natalia was saying at the very beginning, I only ask from him. And the example we gave was sitting before the book for studying was, you're just actively saying that, oh Allah, I want to learn something, but you are the one who teaches, so make me learn. Bi-ismi Allah, in the name of him, I am sitting. This is why Bismillah, really, to the extent that we say it consciously, is like an adjustment. You are saying that if I don't read it in the name of Allah, I'm going to read it in the name of secular perspective, meaning I am going to learn, or idea is going to emerge. It doesn't stay in the vacuum, right? You have to read it in one way or another, but saying Bismillah at the beginning is you're conditioning yourself. I will read it in the name of Allah. So these are very beautiful practices, and very practical, easy, but to the extent that we make it consciously, it becomes a habit.
So we have only 3 minutes. You have to cover this.
No, I think we should end it.
And let's see at least what it is about. And we studied this difference at the first session, right? The where are we headed to? The secular world, we would say there is nothing beyond this current moment. The past that is already gone. No there. The future is not there either, right? You just live the moment. Or in the bigger scale, it will say just live this life. There is no other life. And this ends up giving you all this. Let's jump to the outcome. The pain of separation, regrets of past, worries of future, spoil every joy. Like the irony is when we say there is no other life, the next sentence is that try to enjoy your moment. There's no other moment, just enjoy the moment. No other life, just enjoy this life. There are all these crazy phrases. We don't have to, repeat them all. But this is the idea, right? You try to enjoy, you try to be best of yourself. What is the end? Nothing. You will become dust. There was one famous stupid person, sorry for that. He's saying that, oh, imagine that you will go to become a dust and you are actually like a part of you, a knee of your, like a one particle in your knee could be the particle from Napoleon. Such a, the magnificent thing. This is the stupidity at the utmost level. Like if he means I will become perfect in stupidity, I cannot even articulate, sorry. That's, he achieved for sure. This is the end. If this is the end, becoming the dust and becoming a particle in the knee of, the next generation, every moment will be spoiled. What am I doing here, you would say? You taste something, it's delicious. The next thing that will come to your mind, it will not last forever. This is, again, the children. Perfect image of a human being. My daughter eats, the same goes with yours as well, right? Ice cream. What they do, they ask about what will happen when this cup ends. So because it's getting closer to the end, right? Is there any more? What will happen next? They cannot enjoy the moment. Watching a cartoon, she started asking me from the beginning, how many of them I will watch? That's our life. Like we don't articulate it this way, but this is how we live as well. Every joy we have, we start questioning what will happen next because it will die. I know that this enjoyable moment will die. No joy then. Joy itself becomes a reminder of the suffering. Another reason for our mental health quest.
Because loss is painful. The more you earn, the more you lose, meaning the more pain is coming. So every joy brings more pain, like as a consequence of it. So that's why the more joy you have, the deeper becomes your hole. So this is the irony in there. And like secular Muslim would pull up the verse, and the verse would say, like rather seek the hereafter by means of what Allah has granted you without forgetting your share of this world. We will hear this a lot, but don't forget, وَلَا تَنْسَى نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. So don't forget your share of the dunya. Like, and this is generally being used as a, suggestion to say that don't go too far. Like still, you need something in this life.
And like, because we don't have time, maybe just clarify what it really means. At least one meaning of this ayah is that, yes, you need perfection. You will find perfection through relying on the perfect one, but you cannot do it without studying this word. What is in your life? You have to study them to find the perfect one. You cannot just sit and think about the creator is perfect, the names, because somebody memorized, like make you memorize when you were a child. It won't work. You have to study this word. You have to dirt your hands in the kitchen, as they say. Kitchen of the religion. Go and study this word, your life, your relationship with your friends. Through that, it will remind you your neediness. Take serious your relationship with your friends, and you will realize how needy you are. Take it serious, your relationship with your parents, and you will realize how needy you are. For your workplace, you have to struggle to become better in your job without having this stress. Only then you can really praise God. So you cannot forget your share of this world. Otherwise, you cannot find
through your experiences you find him. So your conclusions needs to start from here. So don't forget this aspect of it. So, and then the answer is, Quran comes with akhirah, saying that every moment is being created by him and there's eternal happiness, which starts right now. So this world is the field for hereafter, a training place. That is really union, not separation. So I guess we'll have to go quick. Oh, this was the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So
Only 15 minutes ahead of time.
okay. I think we,
Sorry.
no. We started around 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we are on time. We are on time. So yes, the once Quran introduces, like in contrast to one wordliness, and actually this topic was our tracks of discussion, and it took 1 hour, so we are not going to get into here. But the concept of time in Quran, as exemplified in Laylatul Qadr, for example, if you are a secular person, 1 minute is 1 minute for you. 1 minute of life is worthy of 1 minute. But Quran is saying that there could happen a night which is going to be worthy of 1,000 months. Because then inshallah, maybe this could be another discussion topic at some point. So not for today. Let's conclude here.
There probably a big question in all of your minds, like what kind of Muslim they are. They didn't even talk about Gaza yet. So we will inshallah get into this topic in the first session.
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة